Hello, I'm Liv. Today I'm going to show you how to make a scrunchie, like the one I'm fashioning. Although this is a shop bought one, I'm going to show you how you can make one at home. I'm going to be making it out of this lovely old shirt which has got a big rip in it, but you can make it with silk, cotton, anything that you can find that you no longer wear, that you like the material. And all you're going to need is the cloth, bit of cloth, some scissors, some elastic, stretchy, some pins, needle and some thread. And I'm going to do mine in blue, even though the shirt is orange. I don't think it matters, so whatever thread you have is fine, but I'm going to use blue so you can see it easily. You also actually need a safety pin, and if you have serrated or crocodile scissors, they would be great too. I just didn't find mine in time, so you'll see I use different scissors, but any scissors do. These are just my preferred ones normally for using on material so the material doesn't fray. First thing you're going to do is cut the elastic. Open it up, and you're going to want about 7 inches of elastic. You can just do it by eye, but 7 inches is about that long. As long as it goes around your wrist, okay, because that's where you're probably going to have your scrunchie at the time, that's fine. So then you cut that. I've got crazy big scissors, but any scissors will work. These are proper sewing ones. So we've got our elastic, and that's step number 1. So the next thing to do is to cut a rectangle out of your material. It needs to be about 4 inches by 16 inches, which I will do now off screen and then show you, but it's quite long, quite wide. I like my scrunchies quite big, so the bigger the better for me, you will see. So I've cut my material. As you can see, it's a bit of a rough done job, doesn't need to be done too neatly, but it's about 16 inches along the long edge and 4 inches along the shorter edge. I've chosen a bit of a confusing material because it's quite hard to see which way is the front and which way is the back. So I'm just going to show you the next step with a different material, which is this lovely toucan material. So the side with the pattern on it is the right facing, and the side without the pattern is the wrong side. So this is the right side and this is the wrong side. So the next step is to fold your material, but make sure that if you have a pattern on it, the right side is not showing anymore, so you fold it like that. So you will have no pattern showing, just the wrong side, which you can see. So I've now folded my bit of material. And next what you're going to do is you're going to pin your material, remember with the pattern on the inside, you're going to pin your material all the way along the edge. So I don't know if you can see this, but just pin it, just so that it doesn't move, and then we can start to sew it up. And you're going to do that all the way along to the end, so keep pinning all the way to the end. I've now pinned my material all the way to the end, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand sew along the edge. So I'm just going to get my thread and my needles and start doing that. I've got my needle and my thread, hope you can see that. I've made sure that the thread is about a bit longer than the material so that we can sew all the way along, and you just want to put a little, very hard to see, but a little knot, there you go, in the end of the thread. And then it's just a very simple, I'm not even sure what the stitch is called, just normal stitch. Let me show you if you can see. Can you see that? So just want to go in and out, up and down. You can even just go very quickly, and again it doesn't matter if it doesn't need to be neat. I'm going to do a few stitches in one go and pull it through, and that's the first lot of our, take that out. Just start sewing along the edge. I'm going to do mine quite close together so that it holds together nicely, but as I say, just go all the way along doing, is it a running stitch maybe it's called? I'm not sure what it's called, but just be careful of your fingers. I just poked myself. I'm going to do some more. You can see I'm not being very neat, but that's just who I am. Oh, make sure you capture both sides. I almost didn't get the other side of my thread, my material, but I have, so that's alright. And yeah, and now just keep going all the way along. I've gone along the entire way doing stitchings, can you see? But because I was doing it quite quickly, there's quite big gaps between each of the stitches, so what I'm going to do is actually go back again and stitch into all the gaps, just because I don't want it to fall apart. My material is quite old and delicate, and I just think it might fray, so I'm going to double back on myself, and wherever there are any gaps, like that, oops, I'm gonna, yeah, just do the same again, but running all the way back to the beginning. You can see we've got our material all sewn up all the way along, and what you're going to want it to do now is to turn it the right way around. So it's just a case of, may take a little bit of time, but just pulling it back through. This is where you now start to see your stitches slightly. Obviously, if you have a sewing machine, you can do the sewing on the sewing machine, which does make it neater, but I don't think it matters. No one's going to notice it when it's finished. There, ta-da! So we have a kind of tube of material, which will eventually, well, not very distant future, will become your scrunchie. Our little tube of material all sewn up, turned the right way around, so now you'll be able to see the pattern if you've got pattern on your material, and we need to now thread the elastic through it. So first things first, get your safety pin and just attach it to one end of the elastic, like that, see, on one end, and then with the other end we're going to start threading it through. So get your tube, and the safety pin end goes in first, threads down, just hangs down. Make sure you keep a hold of the other end, and you're going to want to pin that there so you don't lose it or it drop through. So once you've like so pinned into place, and then you're just going to, you can feel the safety pin in the tube, and you're going to pull the elastic through, you see that the scrunchie starts to materialise. Get it through. Bit of a fiddly job, but you get there eventually. Ta-da. The safety pin is through, and now you can take the safety pin off. Make sure you don't drop the elastic, and keep a hold of both ends, but you can take the pin out as well. Don't put pins in your mouth. I read somewhere the other day that that's very dangerous. I always do it, but you shouldn't. So now the two ends of the elastic with the scrunchie in the middle. You want to connect the two bits of elastic, pin them together with pins not from your mouth, and oops, that's what I'm doing. Pin it. So now the two bits of elastic are pinned together. What you're going to do is sew. You make sure there's like about a centimetre, so they cross over for about a centimetre, and you're just going to sew up and down, up and down, up and down, so it's strong, so it won't fall apart very easily at all. And I'm going to do that now. I'm going to do it off screen because it will take me a little bit of time. You can see I've stitched together my two bits of elastic. The next bit is another little fiddly bit, but we're on the final stage now, which is just sewing the two ends sort of together. So what you want to do is put one side inside the other side, the other end. See, like that? So it's sort of inside. And then the end that's showing, you will have kind of the frayed edge. So you just want to turn that under and pin it. Oops. To the other side. See? So now that's turned under, and you want to do that all the way around. It's just got caught on the other side, which you don't want. So onto the back side, turn it under. Told you it was a bit fiddly. Turned under. Pin it. Make sure you do it on the top as well. It's a bit harder here, but as long as it's sort of under, it's okay. So that's sort of done. And next we're going to stitch this together, and it's a sort of secret stitch, so I'll show you how to do that now. I've got my thread and I've knotted it, a little knot on the end. And again, I'm using blue so that you can see it, but it might be better if you had a thread that was a more similar colour to your material, but hopefully this way you'll be able to see what we're doing. So get to the hem or the side of your sewing, and you're going to want to get your knot hidden on the inside, so where the fold over is, so get your knot in there. And then it's just about making the stitches as small as possible on the outside. I hope you can see this. So there, you just catch a tiny bit of the cloth, the material, and then the majority is on the inside. Very small bit there. So you can see you can only get very small amounts showing. Hope you can see. and then you just keep going round like that. Oops. And I mean, I'm trying to do it as neatly as possible, but again, once it's all scrunched up and in your hair, no one will see it. And if it's the same colour thread, then even better, but honestly, I really don't think that you need to worry too much about it. Just keep going round. When you've done one side, you can obviously take the pin out. The pin's still in the other side. And I'm just going to finish by going around the other side and then doing a knot at the end. And I will show you what it looks like in a minute. I've sewn all the way around, you can see, and now you have a finished scrunchie. Hurrah! I'm going to try it on my head. Get rid of the shop bought ones, you never need to buy a shop bought one again. And there you go, very trendy top knot. I hope you enjoy.